Afternoon, guys. Welcome back to the kitchen. Today is it's Thursday. Jeez, I don't even know what day it is. How crazy is that? That's the sign of a busy week, right? You're always running here or there. You don't know what day it is. It doesn't really matter because you still got to do some of the same things every single day, like make dinner. So here we are. We're in our kitchen. We're gonna whip up a quick pesto tortellini today. I got inspired by pesto yesterday. We were making grilled cheese on our bar pan. So if you missed that, you got to go back and see that one because that's fantastic. Those sandwiches went like hotcakes. I had to do another 7 and they all went. They were great. And all of them went, surprisingly enough. We did 7 different variations and all 7 went like crazy. So today I wanted to keep the pesto thing going. And so we're going to make some cheese tortellini with pesto sauce. Now, if you don't want to use cheese tortellini, you can use whatever tortellini you like. You can use ravioli, you can use plain pasta. Doesn't really matter in this whole recipe. We're just basically putting together a quick pasta meal that has got it's well balanced and it's got everything in it that we want. So what have I got in front of me is I've got my rock crock. We're going to use this today. It's hot right now. I've got a little bit of olive oil in the bottom. For time's sake, I started warming that up. We're going to put the onions and get them going in that pretty quickly. I have tortellini. I have about 5 cups of tortellini. If you want to use pasta, if you want to use ravioli, if you want to use whatever you want, doesn't really matter. We're looking for 4 to 5 cups probably based on everything we're going to use today. I have 1 cup of milk. I have a 1/4 cup of flour. I have some sun-dried tomatoes, which you can use, or if you have roasted red peppers, you can use those in its place. You just need a bit of a flavor boost there is what we're looking for. I've got some chicken broth here. I have butter. I have about 1 onion or half of a really large onion. I have a bunch of mushrooms. Now, I have a ton of mushrooms here. You don't need this much, but these have been sitting in my fridge. I want to use them up, so I'm going to use them all. So I have about 4 cups of mushrooms, but you use whatever you want to use. I also had half a zucchini in my fridge, so we're going to throw that in too. It's a great way to clean out your fridge. And as always, I have garlic. Okay, so let's get started. We're going to rock and roll here. We want to get this going because we want to do it in under our 30 minutes or less. So I've got olive oil going. I'm throwing my onions in. I'm going to get that going. I remembered to have a spatula with me today. Look how awesome that is. Okay, so we're going to get our onions in here. I'm also going to throw my mushrooms in here as well. We want all of those to cook quite well. Get them. I did put a very heavy dose of olive oil in here because my mushrooms were a little dry. So I used about maybe not quite 2 tablespoons, but a little bit less than that. Just gave the bottom a really good soaking with it. And I've got my stove here. I got it on high just to try to speed up the process here. Okay, I'm going to turn my oven on because that's what we're going to use. We're going to end up baking this, but we're going to get going with that. So today we've got the onions and the mushrooms in here right now. I'm going to end up adding my garlic. Apparently, I'm having a lighting issue up here. Got a light that's moving around, so you get some extra added pyrotechnics today. I'm going to throw my garlic in as well. You got to be careful when throwing your garlic in too early. You don't want it to burn. But because we're standing right here while we're doing this, we're going to end up keeping this, we're going to stir this enough that it's not going to be a big deal. Okay? So a little tidbit with garlic. When you see, if you have garlic and you keep it fresh and you see it start to sprout in your drawer, it gets really bitter at this point. You probably don't want to use this kind of garlic. You want to use the garlic that has not yet sprouted. So all that means is if you have garlic like this in your drawer, you're not using enough garlic. You need to put more garlic in your recipes. It's garlic, garlic, garlic. Keep all the vampires away. Anyway, I've got 2 cloves of garlic going in here. Is it bad when you can laugh at yourself all the time? Anyway, it's always fun. We're going to keep stirring this up. Get this going here. Today we're going to use a jar of pre-made pesto. But I want to I can't express enough how easy it is to make your own pesto. We're using a jar today, 1, because I have it and I want to get rid of it. 2, I like basil pesto. And so I have a hard time finding basil this time of year in the large quantity that I want it. But you can use spinach to make your pesto. So we'll back up a bit. For pesto, you need For this pesto, I like basil, pine nuts, Parmesan, and a little bit of olive oil. That's all that's in a pesto. And for those of you that have our awesome manual food processor, all you do is you put all of those ingredients in here, and 10 seconds later, you've got pesto. It's so fast, so quick, so simple. It's crazy. But if you're running short on time, or you happen to have a jar for another reason, or whatever else, you want to use up that jar, that's great too. Another variation with pesto is spinach. You can use baby spinach, maybe, with some walnuts. You might want to use some Parmesan cheese. You always want to use some sort of an oil, like an olive oil or whatever oil you choose to use. And then you blend all that up together. You can even do it with a chopper. You can do it with any of them. Either one of these two tools is awesome for doing it, because one of them requires you to use your countertop, and then you're going to scoop it into a bowl and stir it up later. In the other one, you're going to put all the ingredients into one, and it's all set and done in a bowl. Both are just as easy, just as convenient, just as quick. No difference in the taste. Easy peasy. Like I'm telling you, if you don't have a chopper in your house yet, you are missing out. Chopping up onions, chopping up mushrooms, which again I left big in here for my kids. Chopping up anything that you use on a daily basis. Or I love to hide food. Oh my gosh, when you're making like a spaghetti sauce and you have a zucchini left in your fridge and you don't want your kids to know, or you have some carrots even, or something that you want to throw into your pasta sauce and hide it, even mushrooms, if you don't want them to be able to pick it out, you chop everything up really nice and small like this, and then they can't pick it out, and it's fantastic, and half the time they don't even know it's there, right? They see something green, and you can just tell them that it's an herb or a spice, and you can get right past it. It's pretty awesome. So our mushrooms and our onions are coming along here quite well. We've got that going. I'm going to start to throw in the stuff for the sauce. So we're going to take this pesto and we're going to turn it to a creamy pesto. Okay, so I'm going to make a bit of a roux, if you will, with everything that's in here right now. I'm going to add a little bit of butter. Or not too much butter, but a little bit. Uh-oh, lots of junk here on my stove. Don't need extra cleaning. And all I'm doing with this now is I'm mixing up the flour with the ingredients in here. And the butter's going to help it from sticking to the bottom once we get that going. And then what we're going to be able to do with this is we're going to be able to start adding some milk. And all we want to do is when we add the milk is add it slowly and continue to stir. Continue to stir to avoid the lumps. So I have 1 cup of milk here, slowly adding it in, and all I'm doing is I'm going to continue to stir. Slowly adding more in, continuing to stir. A little bit more. Doesn't take long. Eventually you'll get it so that it is a sauce, and you'll be able to add more and more in at each turn. All this is doing is this is giving us our creamy base for our sauce. You can use a heavy cream here if you wanted to. If you had a heavy cream you wanted to add in, I'm simply just removing the heavy cream from this, and I'm using milk instead. Whatever suits your fancy, you go right ahead and you use. It's completely up to you. I'm going to finish that off there, and we've got that going in here. So now we're going to let that come up to a bit of a boil, but not too much. It's almost there, actually. Just by stirring it around, it's almost there. At this point, I'm going to add my pesto. So I have a jar of pesto with about this much pesto in it. I'm just going to add it in. Okay, I'm going to turn down my stove because it's bubbling now. You don't want your milk products to burn. All right. So then I'm just going to start adding the pesto. Now we're just going to add the ingredients that we want. You don't want too much pesto in here because it is a strong flavor. We are just about done here. So hang tight. So that looks about it. So I think I put in about 1/4 cup of pesto, I would say. 1/4 cup, maybe a little bit of a generous 1/4 cup. The next thing we're going to add is I'm going to turn off my stove now because I don't want my sauce to cook anymore. And I'm going to actually, because it's a rock crock, I'm going to remove it from the heat. It's going to still simmer for a little bit, but that's okay. That's good for us for when we want to put it in the stove. A couple of things I'm going to add now. I'm going to add my zucchini now, okay? I haven't added it yet. Zucchini gets soft really, really quick. We didn't want it to be too mushy. So we're going to add that right here at the end, right before we put it in the oven. Just quartered my zucchini, whatever I had left. Whatever is in your fridge is easy. And I have these sun-dried tomatoes that I'm going to add for a bit of flavor as well. Okay, we're just going to slice those up really quickly. They're still a little oily, but I've drained them. They've been drained as much as they can. The oil will just add to the recipe. Won't be a problem at all. We're going to throw these in, and then we're just going to put the pasta and the chicken broth in, and away we go. We're going to walk away for 15 to 20 minutes. I have fresh pasta here. Should take a little bit less time to cook than the hard pasta. But then again, you're also using your oven to blend all of these awesome flavors. So we're just going to throw everything in now. Now it's a free-for-all. We're just about done. Clean off my hands for a second. Okay. Tortellini's going to go in. I need to pull this back towards me so that I can stir it up. The rock crock is hot from being on the stove. It's just one of those items that does get hot. Now what's going to happen here is we're going to end up cooling this all off with our chicken broth. So I'm going to turn my stove back on before I pour in my chicken broth because I want to try to warm up the chicken broth as much as I can before. Don't use oily sun-dried tomatoes before you pour in your chicken broth because then you can't open the chicken broth can. So I'm going to start with 2 cups. We're going to kind of eyeball this here and see where we go. It's definitely going to be about 3 to 4 cups. I'm just not sure whether it's 3 or 4. So that's 3 cups. And I'm thinking that that might work out just perfectly. So I'm going to leave it at 3 cups here. So all I'm going to do here is I'm going to heat up this chicken broth. I'm going to let it come to a small simmer, and then I'm going to put this in my oven for 25 minutes, probably somewhere in there. I'm going to look at my pasta as I go. I will put my lid on to it. My oven is set at 350 degrees, and it's about 20 minutes in the oven. So that's what you want to aim for. When you pull that out, you're ready to go. You're ready to serve. Just scoop it into a bowl, and Bob's your uncle. It's all done. This is done in our rock crock, which is again, my go-to tool in your kitchen. We use it all the time. It's great for one-pot wonders. It's great for meals in 30 minutes or less. If you're a busy family, this is a tool you need to consider to have in your kitchen. It's stone, which is one of my absolute favorite things. I talk about stone constantly. If you're not sick enough of me talking about stone, you're just going to keep hearing it. Like, it's just going to keep coming because I love the stoneware. The stoneware to me is the best thing you could buy. Everything that you cook on should be on stone. It's natural. It goes everywhere. It makes your food so much more moist and more flavorful. It's amazing. So this rock crock is coated, so this is why we can use it on our stovetop. If you don't have a coated one, you can't use it on your stovetop. It will crack. It'll become a victim of thermal shock. So you want your rock crock. It goes in your microwave. It goes in your oven. If you didn't want to do this in your oven right now, you could put this in your microwave for 20 minutes. It would come to the same effect. It would work just the same. I kind of just go between either or. Sometimes the oven will take you a little bit longer. So if something takes, like a chicken will take 30 minutes in your microwave, it might take 45 to 50 depending on the size of your chicken in your oven. Same taste, same everything, just different uses, different vessels. Sometimes your microwave is that much quicker. Depends on how much of a hurry you're in, right? So these items are awesome. Everything I'm teaching you here, all the videos I've done are all done with our tools. All done with the tools that save me time so that I can teach you how to save time in your own kitchen. So to get these tools in your kitchen, you got to contact me. Get a hold of me. I'd love to help you out. There's links to everything below. Go on, have a look. There's all kinds of crazy stuff. And if you have any questions or concerns, shoot them my way. I love answering questions, and I love to make sure that you get the right products to fit in your kitchen. If you're a single person cooking for one and you love what we're doing, that's great. But you don't need to make tortellini for 5 in a big giant rock crock. We'll get you a smaller one. We have different sizes. We have different variations. If you're a giant family, you're going to need the bigger rock crock. We have one even bigger than this. It's fantastic. So have a look at some of this stuff, see what we're doing, watch some of the other videos, see how easy it is to use this stone. I mean, it speaks for itself. I don't have to tell you how good it is. You just got to look and see what it can do, and you'll be sold. So this is this is going into my oven. Come back in 20 minutes. You'll see a picture below of the finished product, and me scooping it into bowls. So if you've got any questions or concerns, don't hesitate to contact me. Otherwise, go make dinner and have a great day. All right, bye for now.